Michael Lapide here to talk to you today about interest and penalties from the CRA. The CRA does charge interest and penalties, and they make a large amount of their revenue on penalty and interest. Believe it or not, there are so many penalties and interest charged on a daily basis in Canada. Now, there's a big difference between penalty and interest, and that's where people get confused. Penalty is usually for a late filing or forgetting to file something, like omitting some income maybe, or whatever the case may be. So it's usually for a late filing or omissions of something when you're filing. That's a penalty. You're being penalized. Interest is on the amount owing. They're completely two different things. Now, interest can be charged on the penalty amount if it goes unpaid, but interest is basically a calculation on the amount owing. And typically, most of the time, CRA is 5% on average, except for when it's payroll. There's some ups there, and some of them add another 1% on the balance owing. There's some complicated calculations there, and it's also, the way it's compounded, it can turn into 6 and 7%. So a lot of people go, well, what am I borrowing at? If my interest rate is 5 or 6 at the CRA, but I got to borrow at 10 to pay it, is it really worth it? Well, depending if they're on your back or not. But if I could borrow it at 2 under my mortgage, for example, and I just want to get the CRA paid off because they're bothering me, you're way better off because you have a lower interest rate, okay? So interest is based on a rate, and it's calculated on an ongoing basis until you've paid, whereas a penalty is a one-time event typically, okay? Much different between the two. Now, at the end of the day, these penalties can really ruin you because what happens is, let's say you have a penalty because you filed late one year. It might be a 5% penalty. Next year, you don't file on time again, you're late again, it could be 10%. They could raise the penalty. If you keep doing the same thing and over again, they raise the penalties. One of the worst penalties you can get is gross negligence, but even before that is if you omit income, there's penalties potentially for not reporting that income, okay? And that is called a failure to report income, basically, in a nutshell, okay? And gross negligence is something bigger. Gross negligence can be up to a 50% penalty if you did something that was grossly negligent they're looking at. For example, you did a tax plan that was way offside, and you put something personal that was supposed to be corporate, and you moved it around, and then they found out. That could be gross negligence. Now, the worst case scenario is fraud, of course. Hopefully we're not going there. That's different than a penalty. But gross negligence can be up to 50%. So again, penalties are a one-time occurrence, whereas interest is an ongoing on the amounts you owe. Any questions on any of this? We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for being a part of our business tips, and we'll see you in the next video.